another that gives them a common ground. I go to them and ask them to paint, create a window of expression that expresses that group. Marianne Lundgren and Karen Francis found out about my concept and wanted to blow it up on a big scale and try to raise some funds off it. That's what we're doing here today. Community co-op zine about AIDS, which we're all a member of that group. People that are, should be, or have been concerned about AIDS. People are coming up and expressing themselves on the canvas. This is very similar to what my site paintings are like, but normally the scale is smaller. I've been targeting groups such as homeless. I have done AIDS. I did pro-life and pro-choice this spring, so there was both sides would validate each other. And I've been doing site paintings for about 3 years. I plan to continue doing it. But today we're here to paint out AIDS, to create a collaboration canvas that will raise sensitivity and so far just a little bit of money, but that's a sign of the times. And these canvases will be shown at the McLean Project of the Arts for the month of July.
Three, two, one. Stop nuclear testing. 3, 2, 1. How's the sound person? Have we stopped nuclear testing? Hallelujah, brothers and sisters. My name's Jose. I want to welcome you to Politically Correct Cooking, a show about two of my favorite things, food and politics. But before we get into this really interesting show, I want to remind everybody out there, when you go to the supermarket and you buy your fruits and vegetables, you think you're eating really well, make sure you wash the stuff off. These fruits, these vegetables, they're coated in pesticides, they're coated in wax, they're coated in stuff even Steven Spielberg refuses to replicate. So, make sure you wash your fruits and your veggies. I want you to pay close attention here. See this canvas, this beautiful work of art? I want you to notice these subtle brush strokes, subtle yet powerful, searing into your consciousness God knows what. Picasso, you drive me nuts. Anyway, our show tonight, really special. The person responsible for this is here today with us. Mike, come on down. Glad you could be here on the show.
Nice to be here.
It's an interesting show. We have this big canvas behind us. We have, I don't know, fun with food, I guess, today. We have a little farm community here with carrots.
It's a setting.
Nice setting here. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on the menu?
This is just a background so that we can put our fake meat animal cookies on.
Fake meat animal cookies. I had some last night with milk before I went to bed. They're delicious. I love them. I hope our viewers out there haven't had a chance to try any out. But what's the deal here with them?
Well, you can any basic cookie form you can find, you can take out of your store-bought patties, and you just simply press down and you get a little chickadee, little meat chickadee.
Toss them on the frying pan and
they're delicious.
They're delicious. Okay, I can't wait to try the chicken. We have some other ones too.
Yeah, they're mostly birds though.
Birds are good. Birds are good.
Turkey.
Now, as an artist, how did you get involved in this kind of stuff you're doing? For example, the opening video, we were looking at the AIDS paint out. You've done a lot of artwork with political groups all across the spectrum, conservative groups, liberal groups, Democratic, Republican, what have you. How did you get involved in this, and what's the main reason? What do you think gets accomplished?
I'm not sure. I'm looking for a symbol language that's shared by several different groups that would consider themselves to be basically polarized, but might treat the same situation very commonly. And the Paint Out AIDS, with the video which you saw, was collaboration to capture people's emotions about AIDS on canvas with paint, and as well as try to create some funds for a organization called the Family AIDS Housing Foundation, which provides housing for families that are economically strifed due to a member of the family dying from AIDS.
And I know that we just recently had a show on healthcare, and the costs for just trying to stay healthy are outrageous in this society today. Now, what other fun things have you done? I've noticed that in talking to you before the show, you've done things all the way from setting up canvas at the three major political parties, Clinton, Perot, and Bush. You've also approached the NRA, for example. You've had canvases at like pro-life marches and pro-choice marches.
Correct.
What was like a real interesting adventure? Like setting up, people like try to chase you away, or people welcome you, or how does that work?
It's a mixture. It's sort of a little adventure each time. What happens? I started with the political campaigns with Perot's first because I figured that would be a group that was open to just about anything, and I was able just to come in and set the canvas up right in their lobby, and they asked me if they could keep it for 2 additional weeks because they were having so much fun with it. In comparison, the Bush campaign wouldn't allow me in the building, but I set up outside the door, and as the volunteers were exiting for breaks and such, I asked them to paint. They eventually assessed that it was not a harmful adventure and allowed their employees to partake in the canvas. The Clinton campaign was the...
I like my little chicken.
It's nice.
Is it nice?
It's nice. These are for your meat-loving guests. If you don't want to serve them meat, you can serve them a vegetarian style of meat, and you can sort of put a pun in by them being animal.
By being animals.
Yeah,
So if you got to eat an animal, you might as well eat a soy-based little chicken.
Sure. Looks like it. You get the primal need in there.
Well, I'm going to be making a little thing here. I was wondering if we might be able to change the different kinds of animals. I was thinking of trying to make, I don't know, something with legs on it. Maybe like a
Something
cow.
more exotic or something?
Something more exotic?
Could do
What would
it.
you suggest? Because this is easy to mold. We also can throw another one of these.
Camel.
A camel.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because this lump just sort of looked like a camel sitting here, so I thought I'd take the easy way out.
Okay. Let me just try to... Now, this is a lot of fun here because you can get together with like members of your family. You need something to do. It's a rainy day. Make fake meat animal cookies.
Yeah.
Great idea. Now,
It's good home, family value type of entertainment.
and you want those family values. Well, let's see. Getting a little creative here.
Making a pie chart, a meat pie chart,
Well, I'm trying to make a leg,
Dow Jones report.
and I'm going to try to
Oh, I
make
see.
another leg.
Actually, these are perfect. I could just make, if I took one patty and just made a slice out, it could be like the percentage of, there you go. For those people who like statistics, here's a meat pie chart.
A meat pie
If you have
chart.
an accountant over, you can give him
A meat pie chart?
Sure, and the
Okay.
percentage of the gross national as opposed to the
GNP.
decent national. Yeah.
The GNP versus, I don't know, output versus, who knows.
The
Now,
decent product.
The paintings from the Clinton, Perot, Bush show, I guess. Did you notice things in common? Was there like a red, white, and blue theme to it, or were there other things like, I don't know, maybe dollar bills on the dollar signs on the Republican ones, and maybe peace signs on the Clinton ones, or what kind of symbols did you see in this?
There's peace symbols in just about every one of them. It seems to be that's one common symbol that all the different groups are using for expression. The Bush campaign had one lady who came up, and I think it may have been, I'm quite sure it was a very honest contribution, but it may have been one of few honest contributions when she took a brush and large brush, loaded it with orange, and just splattered it across the middle of the canvas over other contributions, and was frustrated. She was exercising expressing her frustration, and the same thing happened at the Clinton office. A woman came up and she was frustrated, took the brush, big glob of orange, and splashed it right across the middle after it had been developed for quite a while. And I thought those...
So frustrated women splash orange. Okay, that's their color. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll remember that. And I got it from you. Okay.
You don't have to remember that part.
Okay, I won't remember that part here. Well, the animals are starting to look pretty good. The pie chart looks good. I got something here. I don't know what it is.
Looks like a barracuda or something.
Well, why don't we go with
mushroom. Should we try frying some?
an extinct animal from Australia? How's that? We'll go with that.
They're very rare.
The leg just fell off, but that's okay. Now, how are things going here? More hamburger patties.
Should I throw some?
You want to start? You want to
Sure.
heat up the frying pan there? We'll just turn it on like that. It should heat up pretty quickly. Let me turn it on a little lower.
Now, these are real easy to make. You just throw them on, right?
Right, you just throw them on. You're in charge here.
Now, if you really have, if you really want to get with it, you could put barbecue sauce on these, but we won't get that.
The chickens and the birds look fine. I'll let you get back to doing what you do best. Okay. And I'm going to go back to working on this little dove here. Now, you did a pro-life march and you did a choice march.
Yeah, they were both prior to the recent assignment of the new Supreme Court appointee, which I thought was historical. They had huge marches on the mall, and I decided I had to take advantage of this large group and get them to paint. So in February of last year, there was a huge pro-life march, in which I was a little bit apprehensive about doing, because I thought by the concept of the painting alone, they would make the assumption that I was a choice person, but I was never asked by anyone what my political point of view was. But the pro-choice march, I was asked 12 times by different people, and
so they thought maybe you were.
They wanted to know. It was they were interested, I guess, was the difference.
Okay. Interested or paranoid or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It could have been a combination of the two. Two women actually got into a fight in front of the pro-choice canvas because one lady got a little piece of blue and the other one's cashmere jacket, and they started jabbing each other with brushes filled with paint, and they were quite upset.
Well, a fun time was had by all at the march, then, I assume.
Yeah. It was.
Good. Now, we were talking about the Perot Clinton canvas and the George Bush canvas.
Yeah.
You were saying that everybody pretty much uses peace signs.
Well,
I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, it just occurs in every canvas, except for two to date. It's been in every canvas.
Now, of the canvases that you have done, what have been your most challenging canvases, or the most interesting ones? The ones that you remember most. You're saying, "Wow, I can't believe what a day I had today. This was a real interesting."
I'd have to say the one that I did outside the shelter at 2nd and D was one that probably left me with the most strongest feelings in memory.
Now, the shelter at 2nd and D is the Center for Community of Creative Nonviolence?
Correct, yeah.
Right, okay. And how did that one turn out?
It's a very strong canvas. It still makes me sad to look at it because the last contribution on it was done by a little girl who lived in the shelter, and her name happened to start with a Y, and her brother had just painted a big X in the middle of the canvas for Malcolm X, and she painted a Y for her initial, but it's also in itself, I saw it as a symbolic question of just why the situation is what it is, and
you have a little meat man.
Little meat man, little Keith Haring rip-off meat guy that you can...
Okay. Well, if you're going to rip somebody off, Keith Haring is a heck of a guy to rip off.
Yeah, he's already got his fame, so I could still I'll use part of his in the form of meat to...
So
I think some of
these
these are about done. We're ready to put them in the scene.
Put them into the...
And it would depend on what your guest's attitude was like, how you would arrange it. If they like animals that are fenced in, or if they like the animals
I think they like
free.
the Grange-fed
You just place them down in their little beds right there.
Okay.
We've got a chicken that is, here's the Australian,
Endangered, extinct,
yeah, it's
whatever.
injured. It's, there it is. Oh.
Okay.
And another chicken here.
Another chicken?
Yeah, I
Well,
should probably flip that chicken just a little bit. It's a
Okay.
little early. And here's, I think, what was left of a chickadee.
a chickadee?
Right there, yeah.
The chickadees were not that easy to see, although your meat man is...
We'll see how that holds up.
We'll
try
see how
the
that
meat
holds
man.
up.
We're hoping he'll hold up. That would be real fun for your meat-loving guests. I think they would appreciate that.
What I'll do is I'll try to see if I can't make another... Well, maybe I'll do a tree. Now, you were telling me that you had done some canvases at a number of homes for the Whitman Walker Clinic.
Correct. I had been invited to do a canvas at the clinic a couple years back, and the director that helped me get the invitation suggested after it was over that I go and visit the different houses that they support. I visited 5 houses, and the members of the houses, or residents rather, did a collaborative painting together, which was auctioned off at their fundraiser concert that spring. And they were all of them were very strong. They were asked when they approached the canvas to think about, as though they very rarely forget, but to directly address themselves as being people living with AIDS and to try to share that in a form of a brushstroke.
Now, was there any common brushstrokes, say, among the AIDS canvases, or was there something common, say, between the AIDS canvas and the homeless canvas and the George Bush for President canvas? Any common threads that you might have seen in there?
There still is a sorrowful feel to a lot of the canvases. There's a confusion that I see in the canvases. There's only one canvas that appears to be peaceful, and that's the one that's done by some gentlemen that are mentally challenged and closely watched because of their somewhat violent nature sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones that really produced a canvas that has a peaceful, nice flow about it. One thing that they all have in common is that they all seem to be a little bit scattered and confused.
All the canvases.
Yeah, but that's inherent with the idea of having just people coming up and contribute over layer. But the peace symbol is the most reoccurring symbol, which I'm glad to see.
Yeah. Good. How did you get started in this? Did you just say one day you were painting and perhaps you said, well, maybe if I got some other people to paint, something magic will happen? Or did you say, well, let me go meet these folks next door, and maybe by painting we can all get to be better friends, know each other better? How did you come about to do this?
It's actually been sort of warming up for years. Is this another meat man? By the way?
That's another meat
I'm
man.
sorry. It's been coming on for years. I did political cartoons in college and had started my first painting class by asking my fellow members to just come over and throw paint on my canvas to get it started. And I'd never taken painting before. And then years later, I was still trying to do paintings that had sort of story to them, had a social commentary, and I realized that the world was getting so complicated and cultures were overlapping that it was impossible for one artist to paint a painting that really held the emotion of a society, and it would require society itself to talk about its own feelings.
Now, the stuff that you do, these community-type paintings that you do other people around the country do something similar to this, or is this pretty much very unique for you?
Oh, no, it's been going on. The idea of the collaboration, to my knowledge, has been going on since a poem called The Immaculate Corpse, which was a couple hundred years ago, and I'm not accurate on that, I'm sorry, but the collaboration is not new. My variation on it is focusing on specific diversity to enhance commonality, that a viewer can, say, for example, if you were from an extreme camp and you viewed a canvas done by your
Ideological enemies.
Exactly. That you might be able to understand something about them in a non-threatening forum, and maybe even possibly come to terms or reinforce a judgment that you had. A group that you really didn't have a value on, you could learn something by just the way they treated a canvas. That sort of thing. Yeah, this pie chart's just about done.
The pie chart, okay. We'll save that piece for President Clinton, because I understand he's into pie charts.
Interesting enough, that was the only campaign that I was actually physically thrown out of.
Physically thrown out. Security came in and...
No, security didn't come along, but they came there and said you had to leave and wouldn't go away until I packed up and left.
Oh.
But they let me. They allowed the people that were painting to finish, but it was the day before election.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure,
stress.
so it was an understandable eviction. Makes for an interesting story, however. The Bush people were the most fearful of me coming because they'd been getting so much bad publicity that they didn't want to have anything to do with a street artist 2 days before the election.
Now, did you just approach the campaign with your art, with your canvas and your paints, or did you approach them ahead of time trying to set up an appointment with...
No, a group like that I'd always try to call because it's virtually impossible to walk in with this amount of equipment and set up in a situation like that. However, the Clinton campaign I did basically guerrilla style. I was not invited. I just showed up, and because the paper that day had said I was going to be there, they allowed me to set up, and once they figured out what exactly I was doing, then they asked me to vacate.
What other organizations do you have lined up for the future? Did you mention something about the NRA?
Well, I've been making several calls to them, and the best I can say is I haven't said no. So
Okay.
I'll continue to call until a group says no.
Well, maybe some NRA members are watching the show. I know the show is very popular with the conservative section of society here in Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C. They'll be watching the show. They'll say, hey, this guy's okay. We can bring him in to the NRA offices, and we can paint.
All I'd have to say to any group that might be wondering is that all you can look at it is another window for your expressions to be seen, and at my best of my ability, I will have them shown in a public forum where people can get another piece of what you're trying to say as a group. I'm very fascinated with tribalism and the human nature, and cross-tribalism and extra-tribalism and things like that really fascinate me, and that's one of the things that paintings are looking for.
Are you, besides the NRA, any other organizations that we might be familiar with or interested in that you might be working with?
I do have some. I'm not sure if it would be
appropriate
wise
to
to
announce?
mention
Okay.
them, but some groups that I'm sure would be are say, for example, people at a rest stop on Route 80, a county fair in Iowa. I'm going back to Iowa in a couple weeks, and I'm
Take a boat.
I'm going to do some of the flood areas,
scenes,
do some canvases, and things like that. You know, those are in the
Sounds
near
good.
future.
Well, the stuff smells good. I'm dying to take a bite out of...
We've got the man coming here. I think he's going to come off okay.
Okay, because I'm gonna take his leg.
Okay. There's one that's already halfway
Okay.
amputated there.
I'll take it.
I just finished doing a mural with Prince George's County with the theme of the environment. It was for their environmental expo, and we put up a canvas that was 6 foot by 20 foot, and people came by and expressed themselves without words regarding the environmental situation. Is it
Guy's
good?
legs are great.
Are they?
I can't wait to get to the rest of them.
I'll try his head. It's old superstition.
No superstition there.
I'll get his thoughts.
Okay.
Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll give him some hair, sort of a toupee, cool it down, balance it out.
How is it?
Perfect. This is exactly what you want to make
Okay.
it.
And also, we have these really... I'm going to grab a tree. And a little chickadee here. Folks at home, fake animal meat cookies. What was the term now?
Well, they are fake animals, true. But it's fake meat.
Fake meat animal
cookies.
Fake meat animal cookies. Got to get these terms right. Folks at home, fake meat animal cookies. Delicious, they're great, nutritious, better than animal cookies or real animals.
Yeah.
So, no fat, really low on cholesterol, no salt,
Politically correct food
politically
gang.
correct, all the way through.
You should try the lettuce wrap, though. It cools, it balances the flavor.
I'll try some. You ought to try one of those carrot trees.
Good point.
And
I'll leave the chip on there.
try the chip. How is it? Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. Let me just
Good combination.
wipe some of this soy-based stuff off and some paint on my pants. I want to thank you for coming on to the show. Had a wonderful time. Food was delicious. The painting is coming along great. I can't wait to see it in its completed state. People at home, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next show. Remember, be politically correct. Love animals, don't eat them, unless they're fake meat animal cookies.
Correct.
Fake meat animal cookies. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot. Had a good
Thanks.
time.
My husband and I are from Monterrey, the other side. Yes.
On the coast, on the Gulf side?
No, we're in the middle though, in the north of the second state from the Gulf.
Oh, okay.